They said she couldn't do it on clay. They said her game was too light, too young, and too inexperienced for this surface where champions are forged slowly, painfully, point by point under heavy legs and heavier expectations. They said she could surprise a few players on hard courts, maybe steal a match here and there, maybe have a nice run when everything aligned perfectly, but not here, not on European clay, not against Grand Slam winners who have built their reputations on this surface for years. And every time they said it, Alex just kept walking forward like she didn't hear them at all. Because there's a point in every athlete's life where doubt stops sounding like criticism and starts sounding like background noise, and that's exactly where she is now. Stuttgart isn't a test anymore. It's not an opportunity. It's not even a milestone. It's a stage where something much bigger is already happening before the first ball is struck. Because when Alex stepped into the Porsche arena, she didn't arrive alone. She arrived with an entire wave behind her. Filipino flags were already in the seats. Voices already echoing through the corridors. People who had traveled across countries, across time zones, across entire lives just to see one girl from their country stand in a place they were told they didn't belong in. And that's the part nobody outside truly understands. Before a racket was swung, before a rally began, before the scoreboard even woke up, the match had already shifted. Not in score, but in energy. In presence. In pressure. Because crowd support isn't just noise, it's weight. It changes the air you breathe. It changes how your legs feel between points. It changes how long a moment feels when everything slows down at deuce on a deciding game. Alex has felt that before, and every time she feels it, something inside her switches. She stops being just a player trying to survive points and becomes something closer to a signal for an entire crowd to believe in. Stuttgart, or Stuttgart as the tennis world calls it with respect, is not just another stop on the calendar. It's one of those places players talk about in interviews with a different tone in their voice. The indoor clay, the tight stadium feel, the way sound wraps around the court like it's alive. Every cheer feels closer. Every gasp feels sharper. Every silence feels heavier than it should. It's the kind of arena where momentum doesn't just swing, it crashes. And now imagine that atmosphere mixed with something the tournament has never fully experienced at this scale before, a traveling Filipino army that doesn't just attend matches but transforms them. It started in smaller pockets at first, a few flags in the crowd, a few chants that stood out, and a few social media posts that suddenly turned into entire threads of support. But now it's something else entirely. It's organized without being organized. It's global without being centralized. It's fans from Europe, the Middle East, Asia, and beyond converging on one player's schedule like it was a shared mission. And Alex, whether she admits it publicly or not, feeds on that energy. She doesn't just appreciate it. She absorbs it. She carries it into matches like an extra layer of belief wrapped around her shoulders. When she's down a break point, it's there. When she's chasing a drop shot on tired legs, it's there. When the match feels like it's slipping into someone else's rhythm, it's there again pulling her back into her own. That's why people who only look at stats miss the point completely. Because what Alex is building isn't just a record. It's a presence. A feeling that when she walks into a tournament, something unpredictable is about to happen. And Stuttgart is already feeling it before the first match even begins. The Porsche Arena itself adds another layer to the story. It's not just a tennis venue. It feels like a cathedral built for precision. Everything is polished, controlled, almost engineered for intensity. And right there on the side of the court sits the prize that makes this event different from almost every other stop on tour, a brand new Porsche 911, shining under arena lights like it already belongs to someone who hasn't earned it yet. That car doesn't just represent victory. It represents endurance. It represents surviving a draw filled with players who have spent years mastering this surface. It represents 5 matches of pressure where there is no easy round, no comfortable moment, and no place to hide. Every champion who has lifted that trophy before has a different story, but they all share the same thing. They endured when it mattered most. And now Alex steps into that same arena not as a name trying to be noticed, but as a name already being spoken with recognition. The conversation has changed around her. She's no longer framed as a surprise. She's framed as a threat. A real one. Someone who has already taken sets off higher-ranked players, Someone who has already stood toe-to-toe with Grand Slam champions and refused to disappear when the match got heavy. Her season hasn't been a straight line, but that's exactly what makes it dangerous. There's a rhythm to players who are learning how to win in different conditions, and Alex is right in the middle of that transformation. Wins that used to feel out of reach are now expectations. Matches that used to be about experience are now about execution. And every tournament she enters adds another layer of pressure, not because she is expected to fail, but because she is no longer allowed to be underestimated. Across the net on Monday stands Leylah Fernandez, another left-hander, another fighter, another player who understands what it means to carry identity, expectation, and style into every match. That makes this more than just a first round. It becomes a mirror match. Same hand, different paths, different pressures, same stage. And that's where things get interesting, because when styles mirror each other, the difference is never just technique. It becomes a mentality. It becomes who can absorb momentum shifts without breaking rhythm. It becomes who can stay calmer when the crowd rises. And in Stuttgart, with Filipino voices layered into the German tennis atmosphere, calm will not come easy for either player. But Alex has been here before in different forms. Not necessarily in this arena, not necessarily against this exact opponent, but in those moments where everything feels slightly bigger than the scoreboard. She has learned to slow matches down internally, to create space between points, and to reset her mind even when the crowd is accelerating around her. That skill doesn't show up in highlight reels, but it wins tournaments. And Stuttgart is a tournament where small edges decide everything. One loose service game. One missed return. One moment where hesitation creeps in for half a second too long. That's enough to change everything. And yet what makes this specific moment feel different is not just tennis. It's the scale of attention building around it. Social media isn't just reacting to Alex anymore, it's anticipating her. Every draw release, every matchup, every possible path through the tournament is being broken down by fans who now treat her matches like national events. And in many ways, they are. Because when she plays, she isn't just representing herself. She represents a growing belief that Filipino tennis is not an idea anymore. It's a presence on tour. A visible, undeniable force that travels from tournament to tournament and leaves a mark behind it. That's why Stuttgart feels different. Not because of one match. Not because of one opponent. But because everything that has been building up to this point is converging in one place at one time. The crowd. The pressure. The prize. The expectations. The belief. And at the center of all of it, Alex is walking onto indoor clay, knowing that nothing about this moment is accidental anymore. She didn't arrive here as a story. She arrived here as a continuation of something already in motion. From the early days of grinding through junior tournaments to training in academies far from home to slowly breaking into main draws and proving she could compete with players ranked above her, every step has led here. And now there's no more hiding in progress. Now it's performance under lights that don't dim for anyone. When Monday arrives, the arena will fill. The crowd will split in energy but not in respect. The rallies will stretch. The tension will rise. The Porsche will sit waiting under the spotlight like a silent reminder of what's at stake. And somewhere in the middle of all that noise, Alex will step up for the first serve, bounce the ball, look up, and realize something simple but powerful. This is no longer about proving she belongs. It's about showing how far she can take it once she does.